round. To their credit, I thought they did a good job of closing out on us. And at times I thought we got a little sped up, and some of that being sped up probably led into some decisions that we probably would like to have had back.
They're obviously a very good offensive team, but you see from that pick and roll with Zubats, they kept hurting you.
Yeah, we got it. We did a better job, after the timeout. I thought, when you give, whether it's Harden or Paul George or Kawhi, if you give them a steady dose of the same thing, they did. Yeah, and I think that we went over the top of the screen too many times, and I think that we had opportunities to shoot under. We kind of eliminated that when we shot under on some of them, but when we were forced to go over the top of the screen, it kept Vooch there because the guard couldn't get back in front of the ball, and then obviously the size on the backside, we just couldn't play up as high as he could. So we just needed to mix in some more unders on those screens, and when we did do it, we did a much better job.
You had a moment in the third quarter when you wanted to challenge. Vooch was adamant about it. You tried to get the timeout. What did you all see? And then they scored on the next two possessions. How much was it?
Yeah, I don't know. It was one. I wish I could have gotten it in time. I think it was at the other end of the floor from our bench. I just wanted to make sure, because at that point in time in the game, I had called some timeouts, so I wanted to make sure that, if you're calling it, there's a chance you could get it back, right? The timeout and or save the challenge. So I tried to get it. It was probably a little bit late. Tyler, the referee, just said, right as you called it, he handed him the ball. We couldn't stop play. So I don't know if it was off of them. Certainly it felt like it may have been, but I don't know if that possession, like I said, Isle made a great play. I think a play in front of our bench, dove on the ball, we were able to get a timeout and get the ball back. That one would have liked to have, but I just didn't call it in time.
And are you seeing I know the loss tonight, but today, are you seeing the consistency starting to fall? Are you starting to see these?
Yeah, I'm really, again, it would have been great to be able to go 4-0 on this trip. It didn't happen. I think our guys battled and competed tonight. I was really proud of that. I think maybe Casey asked me before the game about, the connection and them playing together and working for each other. I feel that's there. I feel like we're handling adverse situations. I thought the talk in the timeouts was good, when we came out of the third and, we're up 11 and it kind of went back and forth. And then all of a sudden it was like a 2-point game for a few possessions. And just like, listen, we're on the road playing against a really good team. Like, it's not going to be easy, right? There's going to be some runs back and forth, and how can we respond? And I thought we did respond in terms of our competitiveness. I didn't feel like we got frustrated or got taken out of things. So that part of it was encouraging. To me, I'm more concerned right now. The game's over with. I wish we would have won, but coming off the West Coast, going into a home game and then another road game, these games really come up really hard. We've got to get ourselves back mentally and emotionally, and we've got to be able to come ready, against Dallas, with basically a day in between, and then go right back on the road. So I'm pleased with what these guys are doing, the way they're playing, the way they're trying. I do think some of the minutes I've asked these guys to play has been a lot, and I'm not making excuses for Kobe shooting, and he can speak to it, but going into the half, I was like, man, I tried to give him 3 stints, take him out twice instead of giving him, break, then play the rest of the half. In his minutes, it's just going to happen sometimes, because when you're playing against those guys, and even Norman Powell coming off the bench, you're going to have to maintain a little bit with some scoring, and maybe some of the minutes that those guys played maybe contributed to the fact that we didn't shoot the ball particularly well, and then also coupled with the fact they're a really good defensive team and they're long, and you got to give them credit too. They did a good job getting out and contesting.
Billy, taking the finding the voice and the leadership angle away that we talked about with Ayo, what has impressed you the most about what he's done on the court of late?
Well, for whatever reason, he does not get emotionally, upset or emotional. He doesn't. I think it's a huge positive quality of him. He handles adversity extremely well. He leans into adversity. He looks at it as a challenge and not a threat. I think gets more focused, more energized in those situations. I really admire that, because a lot of times,